few days after that, I was at a show somewhere in the Midwest, upper Midwest, on our way to the Pacific Northwest, like Seattle and Oregon, places like that. And I was, after the show, out by the tour bus. I live on a tour bus in America. I call it the Bon Jovi Mobile or the Def Leppard Express or the rental carbon footprint. And so... And so I'm outside by the Bon Jovi Mobile. No disrespect to Mr. Jovi, but I'm just saying, it just sounds funny, right? And so I'm outside by the tour bus, and there's a bunch of people there, and I'm talking with them. We're hanging out, and it's the post-show thing. And eventually everyone starts drifting away back to their real life. And I see a young man standing in the darkness, and finally everyone is dissipated. And this young guy, he walks up, and he just stares at me for like 4 seconds, and just stares right through me. His eyes went through my head, through the venue. I don't know where that gaze landed, but it went right through me. And I'm transfixed. I'm kind of like, And he's like staring at me like this lean, young guy. Not aggressive, just like... And then finally, after this abnormally long period of time, he starts speaking. Hello. I like your performance a lot. I read your books. They're a big influence on me. Especially this one. I like it very much. It's the second copy I've bought. The first one was destroyed. I have Asperger's disorder. It's a mild form of autism. Most people think I'm normal. I'm thinking to myself, no, they don't. No, they don't. They're cool, but they don't think you're normal. You're like, he's so intense. And so I said, wow, that's really interesting. So you function with a kind of autism. Yes, it makes things interesting. I've had some interesting girlfriends. I went, you get girlfriends? Not just because you're autistic, that anyone can get a woman to sit still, because I don't know how to fucking do it. I'll take tips from any motherfucker. Even some kid like half my age. Does your mom alive? Does she need a man? Does she have a pulse? Can she walk? Anyway, I have this interesting conversation with this intense young man. We talk about autism, and both his parents have the same condition, and I guess it rubbed off on him. And so I said, so how is it? He said, I get by. He's not complaining. He's not saying poor me. It's his life. And he said, I have some writing for you. I'd like you to read it. It's been influenced by your writing. In some of the pieces, you're named. And my email address is inside the writing, and perhaps if you feel so inclined, you'll write me an email. And I said, fuck that. Here's my email address. Write me as soon as you get home. I want to keep in touch with you. And so I took his writing, shook his hand, and promised to write him back. And I've been reading his writing, and it's fairly extraordinary. It's different, because I think he doesn't have a lot of the filters that a lot of... we men, when we try and write, we always get our dick in the way of the writing. Have you ever heard of a writer named Hubert Selby Jr.? He wrote a book called The Last Exit to Brooklyn, Requiem for a Dream, The Demon, books like that. Okay, well, there's bookstores. I'm sure they have them. I'm just, he's a great American writer. You might do yourself a service by reading one of his books. I'm not saying you're illiterate, but I'm saying you're missing out if you don't check out a little Hubert Selby before you toddle off the coil. And so he was one of my great teachers. And many years ago, in December of 1986, I actually called him, 653-7614, 213 area code. In those days, now it's 323. Anyway, I found he was in the phone book because I've been reading his books, and it caused writer's block. Like I'm a writer. I just couldn't write anymore. So I was reading his books going, why bother? Why should I bother even buying a pen? Because this guy has written everything that needs to be written. I can read these 4 books over and over and over again. Fuck it. And I realized that the only person who can help me make me write again is Hubert Selby. And so I look in the phone book because I know he lives in Los Angeles, a New Yorker living in LA. And like, this is going to be funny. Like, I'm really going to find, holy fuck, he's in the phone book. Trembling, I call him. Hello? Hi? You don't know me. My name is Henry. I'm a writer, and I've been reading your books, Mr. Selby, and I can't write anymore, especially after reading Requiem for a Dream. I think that one just shut me down, and I haven't written a thing in about a week and a half, and I usually write like a psychotic man, like all day and all night, and I lose sleep and try and write in the shower and write when I'm eating because I feel compelled to write, but no more ever since I closed the covers on Requiem for a Dream. So is it possible that I could like look you in the eye or shake your hand and maybe it'll dislodge this thing that's wrong with me? Yeah, sure, you can come over. I can come over to your place? Yeah, sure. And that started our very long friendship until he passed away a few years ago, where I spoke at his memorial. And a wonderful guy. But I would sit down with him and other writers, and he would just kind of counsel us. And he's like, you men writers, you always put your balls in the way of the story. Get your fucking cock out of the way of the story. Just tell the story. Get your ego out of the way. You guys, you're right. You got too much ego. Destroy the ego. Tell the truth. The ego is never the truth. I'm like, writing this shit down, trying to adhere to, and you know what? He's right. And this young guy with Asperger, or Asperger's if you like, he is devoid of that thing in the way. And his writing's like, it just fucking runs you over like a bus. It's awesome. And so I wrote him a letter. I begged him. I said, don't stop writing. I want you to write all the time. And if you ever feel like sending it to me, do. I'll read it as best I can. I'm a busy guy, and I'm, prone to being hyperactive and busy with my own shit. But you, young man, I'll put the brakes on for.